Nobody should be fit. Costs too much for your booty.
Nobody should be fit.
And I'm not even fit yet.
I will never be fit.
I was gypped. And now my is on fire.
Hello.
Welcome to this week's episode of Life's Laugh Track with Jase and Tannah. That was very sensual.
Yeah, it was. Nice. But I'm into it.
That was nice.
Hello!
How's it going?
It's going good.
It's actually, so we try to stay about a month ahead on these episodes.
We
just
do.
To like make sure we can go on vacation and stuff.
Yeah. Because we travel.
Hopefully. It's one day.
Well, yeah.
More for future coverage than now coverage, but
we're just getting the habits in now.
So it's actually been like 2 full weeks.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Because we were gonna film last week and just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I think the last time we filmed was a Sunday. So, and what is today? Tuesday? So it's been a week. It's been a week and 2 days. We were really, really tired and life had like literally kicked our trash.
Yeah.
Leading up to the 3rd episode. So
it was so we may or may not air it.
Yeah.
So this could be the 3rd episode.
This could be the 3rd.
You might not know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
In which case it's been a very long time since we've chatted.
It sounded like you said shatted instead of chatted.
Also that.
Well,
it's
yikes. Well, you just chugged a kofefe, so you might have to poo.
We'll find out. Could go either way. But it's been, I feel like this week's been a pretty good week, if not kind of wild.
Yeah,
for both of us.
Incredibly wild.
Mostly for you.
Well, you turned 30.
I did turn 30.
You turned 30, everybody! Happy birthday!
Thanks.
Let's all sing to him. I know you're going to sing to him.
I'm cutting this out.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
What is
Camera
that?
1, camera 2.
That's
Camera 1, camera
something.
2. Well, Marilyn Monroe saying happy birthday, Mr. President to John F.
like
Kennedy.
Too sensual.
R.I.P. to both.
Yeah.
It's incredibly sensual.
Yeah.
But also, I was quoting Wayne's World.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
You turned 30.
I'm 30 now. So now everything's the same, but now my back hurts more.
Yeah.
More than before. And my legs now.
Well, that's on
you.
You
just add body parts per year that are aching.
Yikes.
That's what happens.
That's a real thing, though.
I
what
know.
age were you when you turned and your body all of a sudden, like, literally just stopped?
I think this is the year.
Yeah.
Because before, I've never been in, like, super great shape.
Me
since I came back from Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
But I was in a little bit better shape. And I lived in Australia for a little bit and did some, like... Tried to get a little bit more in shape because I was just beach bumming all the time, which was nice. But since then, just down, it's just a meteoric spiral downwards. So I've never been super healthy. So like nothing has probably worked functionally how it's supposed to.
Sure.
Perfectly. But definitely like this year, my back is just gone. Like always in pain. I have to be super careful at the gym. And now my legs are very sore. I did leg day twice in a row. We go to this gym that is a wonderful gym. It's really nice because there's no one there. It's not a Vasa. Mm-hmm. Hate Vasa because of people. Yeah. No offense on Vasa, I guess. Just Vasa people.
I have been to both gyms.
Both? What do you mean? Both gyms? Like
I've been to Vasa. I once had a membership.
Uh-huh. Oh, and the gym that we went to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
I still have a membership with them.
Mm-hmm.
I've done all I can to cancel it.
That's so
But
insane
they actually won't. I remember though when we signed up, the dude who signed us up, I don't know,
was like, it's super hard to cancel.
Yeah, and I was like, why did we sign up for something so hard to cancel?
I think Jonathan and I were like, if we pay for it, we will go. And that's been the case.
I have never been that person. I have learned that recently. Yeah. That even though I pay for something, if it's not on the forefront of my mind, I completely forget about it.
Sorry, it's the coffee.
I wish that I had... anyway, so I still... But you went to the gym.
Usually I'm kind of that way too, where I'll just buy something and then throw it away. But this time,
millennials.
It's worked very well. So we've been going. So the gym that we go to is like a very much smaller gym. It's a local gym, and it's you do like there's open gym and also classes. We just go to the classes because we're not gonna. I have no clue.
That's still working? I thought that was done after the program.
No, they have like now they just don't call them boot camps. They call them like there's weight training classes and surge strength classes and like stuff like that. So
good for you.
We did weight training on Monday, but it was all legs weight training. And then on Tuesday today, we did circuit training, but it was also focused a lot on legs. So the issue is that a lot of the teachers of each of the classes don't like communicate with each other. So they're like, leg day is Monday, and then it's Tuesday.
And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So leg day is every day.
Isn't that a song? Yeah.
Every day is leg day. Yeah. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I don't know if that's how it goes.
I think it is. I don't know.
That's a RuPaul song, isn't it? Drag Race? Like a Drag Race song?
There's been so many songs that come out of that, which are amazing. Everyone should watch it. It's amazing. I don't remember. But if it is, I love that.
You know, I haven't actually... This might be controversial. I've only seen like 2 seasons of Drag Race.
That's okay. I spend a lot of my time now watching Trixie and Katya content only, and a little bit of Jinx Monsoon because she is so wonderful.
So Jinx is in like season 2 or something, like one of the first seasons.
Yeah, like
and everyone thought she was gonna lose. Like nobody liked her.
Do not come at my Jinxie. But
she's so freaking funny.
She's so funny.
And everyone was like, I remember watching it, and I was so confused because everyone was so mad at her because she was so funny. Like.
Don't hate us because
drag
we're funny.
Is a serious art. You have to take it seriously. And they're like, and Jinx was like, drag is whatever you want it to be. Just like, you can be serious if you want. That's fine. But I'm going to be funny.
I've never understood
and she like killed it.
Why put parameters around yourself in an art form in general?
It's tricky. It's especially with drag where it's one of those things where there are people who are just like, it's kind of like the film industry. And
sure.
We'll talk about this later.
Yeah.
But where like the longer that you're in it, the more that you feel like you have ownership over it and what other people should be doing. And it's like, you don't.
I've never operated that way.
Like PAs can sit down. You need to chill.
Calm the F down. Yeah. Oh my.
So that's kind of how I've seen it. But anyways, yeah. Going to the gym and then like when we had a little birthday party with my family. Yeah. It was mostly I feel like at this point there's a certain point where like your birthday is for other people. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, it's more for my family to like come and see what we're doing. So we just made pizzas in our little pizza oven.
Yeah. I love birthdays because I like to celebrate other people. I don't necessarily like my birthday because I hate planning for myself.
Yeah.
It feels so egotistical.
Me too. And that's why I'm like, I'll plan. So like when what we did is we had my family over and then we made pizzas for them. So that it wasn't like about me.
Sure.
Because I agree with you. I hate like when. Do you remember? You know Tess and Bobetta?
Yes, love them.
They threw me a surprise party one year, and that was like the only time where I've like felt okay with it because I didn't.
Had no idea.
I had no I didn't touch it.
She showed up and was like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fun, but I agree with you. I think it's hard to like get over the mental block of like, oh, I'm planning a party for myself. That's kind of pathetic and weird and like egotistical. Yeah.
The only time I feel like it's okay is like big milestone birthdays. That's the only time. But also, at the same time, if you don't plan it, you know that nobody else is going
especially when you get to a certain point, no one cares anymore. Until they do again. Like, they only...
Yeah.
Between 30 and, like, 70, no one cares.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're like, oh, you're old now. We can throw you a birthday party.
Congrats. You've made it to almost dead.
Yeah. Yep. So now you have to celebrate until you just die.
Yeah. What is Jessica Simpson's... Was it Jessica Simpson that said it? Or was it Britney Spears? I don't know. I might be quoting incorrectly, but somebody said, I'm 25, which is almost 30, which is almost 40, which is almost 50, which is almost dead.
Yeah.
And basically we're dead.
Basically,
In
we're
fact,
dead.
I felt that way at 26. My body, that's the birthday for me when my body full on was like waking up on your 26th day of birth.
Because you started having like kidney stones and like...
Well, my first kidney stone, I was actually... I was 20. Oh
my gosh.
And that's because... So my body is weird, as you can tell.
Can we really quick talk about how neither of us are dressed?
Okay, but this is a podcast. Well, hopefully you guys are watching our videos too. But let's be honest, you want us to be real. We are comfy.
It's full. I worked from home today.
Yeah. I love onesies, you guys. I'm not joking. When we talk about follow us on our stuff, it's called You're the Onesie I Want for me. And I love onesies. I have 40 of them. Actually, no, I lied. I have 39 because I was going through my onesies, and I'm pretty sure at some point in the last 2 years of having this onesie, I spilt wax all over it.
This one?
No, the one I threw away. It was all pink. It was a bunny. It was actually a Christmas Story onesie.
Aww.
Yeah, I was really bad. But I can buy a new one. Anyway, 26 though. Yeah, 26. My first, sorry. Wow, we're all over the place. My first kidney stones.
Yeah.
Wow. My first kidney stones, I was 20. And the reason I got them, one, it runs in my family, lucky. But I essentially was the cat. Like I forced them too early. Is the best way I can describe it.
You forced the kidney stones too early.
Yes. So I don't know how to phrase that in any other way. I was trying to do this thing called isogenics.
Oh,
and
I've heard about.
Yeah, and it works for a lot of people, but because of my body and the way that it processes things, man-made protein gives me a kidney stone within a week.
Oh my gosh.
So the only type of protein I can eat is like meat or nuts or whatever, like tofu, that kind of stuff. I can't.
Dang.
I can't have like powder.
You're like an oyster making pearls.
Kind of, but they're jagged and they look like...
But they're horrible and they're made of protein.
They're awful. But yeah, my kidney stones, when the urologist analyzed them, they're made of calcium and protein.
Dang.
Yeah. So yeah, then ever since then I've had multiple kidney stones. Like within like 6 months... Every 6 months I get a kidney stone, and they've been happening a lot more recently because of stress. So it's a fun time. Getting old sucks. When people tell you that when you're young, you don't believe it. You're like, I can't wait till I'm older and I can drive and I can do whatever I want.
I think I did believe it, but I was like, if I could just stay between like 20 and 30 forever, that's probably a solid spot to land in. But obviously did not happen.
I don't know. My friend that we talk about every podcast, I guess, or every episode, he actually told me a couple weeks ago when he found out that I was going to be 32 in August, or excuse me, 33. Woo! 33 in August. He was like, that's a really, really good year. 33 is like the year for people to have like major milestones that are really, really good. He's 34.
I'm hoping, hoping 30 is a good year. I feel good about 30. I have a lot of stuff going on right now.
Mm-hmm. All exciting things.
Really crazy.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a good year for making stuff.
Heck yeah, it will be.
So.
And you're also one of the greatest human beings ever, so.
Okay. So how was your week?
Good things come to good people.
That's not always true.
That's not always true, but it does happen.
Yeah, but good things come to bad people too.
Yeah, I know. Fuck off with that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you're a good person and good things happen to good people. Especially because you're surrounded by a lot of people who support you, so.
People are nice. How was your week?
My week has been good since our last recording. Not too crazy. It's so interesting because you meet people who you just feel so safe with, and you can talk about anything, and he and I are that for each other. And he was a little bit apprehensive about that, but now that he knows that he really is in a safe space with me and I'm not going to cross boundaries, and like he's actually opening up, like much like any other, excuse me. Much like any other friendship. And it's been really cool to get to know him. And he's actually, some stuff happened with my life, and he's been the first person I've called for everything.
Good.
Which is crazy.
That's really good.
Yeah. You were the first person I texted. while things were happening, I texted you.
Yeah.
And then after I got done with certain things, yeah.
So other than working with him, what's going on this week?
Well, I got cast in that show.
Yeah.
So I am going to be...
At the Dessert Star.
Yes, and at the Dessert Star, which I'm very excited about. I very much like working for the directors that I worked for last time. So
Good.
I'm excited to work with them.
I want to talk a little bit about that, if that's okay. Because both of us have like really strong, in my opinion, experience in the entertainment industry locally in Utah.
Yeah. And outside, if I'm honest.
And outside of Utah? Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't.
Sure. My
expertise is definitely local.
Yeah.
And I feel like not a ton of people talk about the local scene. And I kind of want this podcast to be a little bit in that vein of like us talking about our experiences as local talent.
Yeah.
And what we do, and if and when we do branch out to like bigger, better things, like how that came to be and what that means for us. So I'd love to talk a little bit about this Desert Star Theater and your experience there.
Yeah.
Like how is auditioning for that theater as opposed to like other maybe bigger auditions or like local auditions versus a larger audition kind of a thing?
They're actually surprisingly very similar because in this case, the director, her name is Brooklyn. She's the greatest. She actually was on Broadway. She played Tracy Turnblad.
Oh my gosh.
So she's worked in the industry for a very long time. And so she's brought her experience from Broadway to this. And she also performs locally at like the big theaters and stuff like that. So she's incredibly organized, and I've learned so much from her, and watching her from the directing side, but also when she's working with the characters, it is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But as far as logistical side of things, it's very similar to, they post about it, and she actually has, both times I've worked with her, has reached out to me.
Oh my gosh.
Be like, can you
even when she didn't know you?
So I did a show with her,
like as cast mates.
So it's actually so interesting. I was in Hairspray in my first show after I moved here from Utah.
Okay.
And there was another theater, the Grand in Salt Lake was doing it, and we wanted to go and support. So we went to watch, and ironically, she was in the audience to come and support, so that the Tracy Turnblad in the other production could talk to her and get some feedback, whatever.
So I
actually met her.
You were cast at the Grand?
No, I was in the Sears production, but the Grand was doing it at the same time. So we wanted to go support, because shockingly, we like to support each other in this industry, even though there's a lot of negative.
Utah, I do feel like Utah in general, there's a much stronger community sense here when it comes to the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
You get some nuggets, some bad little nuggets that are trying to like get over you.
Yeah, sometimes people walk all over you.
I do think when you get in with the right people, they're very like...
They welcome you in.
And they try to help you. They're like, this is what you can do to make your audition better. This is what you can do to make your resume look better.
But Brooklyn is absolutely incredible. And so I actually met her in... What was that? When did I do that show? I moved here in 2015. I was in it in 2016, I think. It was 2016. Okay. So I met her then. And then in 2019, I was in... the professional show production of Annie, and Tag and I were in it, and she was in it with me, and so we got to spend time together, and so we've kind of just kept in contact. Cool. And then she was directing Legally Brunette last year, and she was
thought of you.
Well, I do a Jennifer Coolidge impersonation.
Did you like backstage in Annie? Is that how she knew that you did it?
All the time. But I also
like, so when she was directing, she's like, Tannah.
Yeah, she actually It so blows my mind. My double is TikTok famous for her and her impersonation of Jennifer Coolidge as well.
Incredible.
So she specifically needed someone who could do that very, very well.
Yeah.
So she called me, and then she had already had auditions for it, but she was like, can you come in for this? And because I at the time was working as an actor at Evermore, I was like, I can only come at this time. And she was like, oh, that's the day of callbacks. Callbacks will be done at that point, so you're just going to read with my husband. And I was like, great. So I just had
incredible
callbacks, and I read with her husband, who's absolutely insane. He is one of the best actors I've ever witnessed. He's also worked in the industry for a really long time. So I've been really lucky because a lot of the productions I've been in are all from people who have come from Broadway, come from LA, the film industry, all of this stuff. Like I for the longest time felt like I was moving to Utah to go to school, and I did go to school and I burnt myself out. I was trying to be a doctor. Yeah. And I was like, well, maybe I need to be in Utah so I can go to the MDT program, the music dance theater program at BYU.
Yeah.
And then I started getting cast at the Hale, and I realized that the MDT program at BYU is probably one of the best in the country. They're phenomenal. Broadway gets a lot of their people from BYU.
I'll speak to that in a second, but
Sure. Just in my experience from what I know, the people that I know on Broadway. And I was like realizing as I was performing with these people that I personally am the kind of person that learns while doing. I don't do well sitting in a classroom. And so I was realizing that the MDT program, and a lot of my friends who have gone through that program actually tell me that it's more about the connections that you make.
Absolutely.
Which is, again, incredible. They get so many wonderful opportunities from that school. And so I was like, well, my voice teacher at the time was a MDT graduate, and she's phenomenal. I'm so grateful that I got to have lessons with her. Like, she's amazing. And then same with acting. And there's one of my acting, I took a program from him, and he's an equity actor. Like, he's one of the very few in Utah, because it's quite limiting if you become equity if you're not on Broadway.
Yeah, especially there's only like 2 theaters in Utah that will take equity actors. There's
actually 4.
Oh, really?
Both Hales, Pioneer, and Tuacahn.
That's right, Tuacahn.
Yeah,
I forgot about Tuacahn. I also didn't realize that Orem Hale also budgeted for equity actors.
It's not very often, but they do. Because the teacher, he performs there. He was my Warbucks.
I feel so strongly about like going to shows for people.
But the really nice thing is because you're friends with a lot of people who do theater and stuff, and you also work in the entertainment industry, we're so understanding of like, oh, you've got other projects. We totally get it. Like
that is a huge plus too, for sure.
But yeah, logistically, sorry, just got on tangent, but no. Brooklyn and her husband, just they cast me and I worked for them, and it's an interesting thing because it's the only for-profit theater, community theater.
Most theaters, even like regular community theaters around here, are nonprofit, and they're fully like either run by the county or the city, or are backed by organizations locally.
Yeah.
So or just like run academy programs and things like that, so they qualify for nonprofit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really interesting because the Desert Star is the only one, and it's a weird theater.
It's so funny. I've always wanted to work for a dinner theater. Like
I
always.
I think it's really fun going. But I've like only been to dinner theaters in like, I don't know, like Wyoming, like the Barjay Wranglers or whatever, where it's like just a gag kind of.
Yeah.
But this one is like a real, like they're real productions. They're big productions, and you're just sitting and having pizza. I hate the image of me sitting in my seat, just like
I love it,
eating something while I'm like staring at it.
Okay, but to be fair, especially if you're in the front row, but the people in the front row literally do all that they can to be in the front row because they love being heckled.
Everyone at the theater loves to be involved in the show.
Yeah, it's a really cool theater. If you guys ever get an opportunity to come, please do, because like the actors are allowed to break character,
and everything's a gag at that show. And it's I will put the stipulation: things are very hit and miss at that show, at that theater. The first show that we saw there was a parody of Hercules that was maybe the worst thing I've ever seen. and then we got to see Legally Brunette, which was very funny.
I had a great time with Legally Brunette.
Yeah.
It was very, very fun.
Okay, so I think this is true a lot for the film industry as well. But
Sure.
like, I think every little thing that you get, you're like always. I think there's two big things where you're always like very available and you're always very like ready to help in whatever way. And that like builds connections for you in a very strong way, and people think of you for other things in the future. Like,
Yeah.
like because you're friends now, and because you were like so
When you say you,
willing
are you
to
talking about
help.
me?
Yeah, like with Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
Like being involved with her and like making a connection with her, like a true connection.
Yeah.
That is what gives you the most jobs, definitely here in Utah, for sure.
Yeah, and it spreads outside too.
And it also will lose you the most jobs. Like if you go in the opposite direction. Burning bridges, it has like severe repercussions on a local
Yes, it does.
scene.
It hasn't, knock on wood, happened for me yet.
But you know people that it's happened to. I know
do.
people that it's happened
I do.
to. I've been very fortunate as well in just tiptoeing around certain situations. But it can like really destroy your career locally.
Yeah, it can. Just be nice to people.
Yeah.
Just be nice, you guys.
But yeah, I think that those are really big things, is that you never know who's going to be directing a show, because people, I do think too, a lot of theaters around here are like, oh, let's like try this new director out. Mm-hmm. There's like, so the Grand specifically in Salt Lake will very often, especially minority people, will like try to like raise up
which
directors. And I think that that's incredible. And they'll also like try to they do at least one new work every year.
Which is so cool.
Which is so cool and so fun. And
is that what you mean? A couple episodes ago, you mentioned that you had seen a lot of original pieces and they never go anywhere, but they're really, really good. Is that what you were referring to?
So like the Grand will do readings or whatever, or sometimes they'll put on the full shows. And then they just don't go anywhere. Or like we saw In Pieces at the U. Yes. So the U does that as well, where they'll take like new works from students and things like that and put them on.
That's cool. That's really cool.
But often they just don't go anywhere. Is there anything, just as like a interesting segue segment, is there anything that you've been listening to that's like new or obscure that you like? You can think of?
Well, I got the opportunity last week to participate in a table read for a new work that is a jukebox musical.
Fun.
And it's all Ingrid Michaelson music.
Can you talk about it, or is it like under wraps for now?
It's under wraps.
Okay.
But the music is Ingrid Michaelson, and I actually only knew 2 of her songs. And it introduced me to a lot of beautiful works of art that she has blessed us with. Her
songs, especially her like lesser known songs, are very, very good.
Yeah.
And they're so like heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
She has a lot of really, really heart-wrenching good songs that no one has heard before, because everyone, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's only had a couple singles that have really taken off.
Which blows my mind. She's phenomenal.
She's really good.
There's the one that I've been listening to that's actually helped me a lot with just like my anxiety the last couple weeks. I think it's called Just Breathing. Mm-hmm. It's so good. And I mean, most of the song is basically just saying all we can do is keep breathing.
Yeah.
That's literally the lyric, and I'm just like, yep. You just take it one step at a time, and it's been, oh my goodness. But yeah, that's kind of the cool thing that I just in the last week that I was able to participate in, and I'm listening to that a lot.
And I'm
independently owned and celebrated.
I love Shucked.
That one too.
Every time
I've been listening to that song specifically on repeat.
I love Shucked so much. Which premiered in Utah. So really interesting thing is that Pioneer is, like we said, one of the few equity theaters, but it's also one that will do shows like in a much more unique way than other places. Like it's a much edgier theater.
Yeah.
I think if you can say that.
Yeah.
In the sense that they will take risks.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And they will they'll do shows like The Producers, or like,
oh, I love that
like
show.
They won't, like other theaters in Utah won't do that show because they won't make money. So it's like fair, but it's like you don't get a huge smattering of stuff unless you look for those more hidden theaters. There's 2 very large theaters in Utah run by the Hales probably, and then Tuacahn.
Yep.
So 3.
Yeah.
But often they're
West
doing...
Valley's up and coming.
West Valley is doing some really cool stuff.
Yes.
And the Grand in Salt Lake is another one that's like getting bigger and bigger. They're still pretty small, and they're slowly kind of branching out and getting bigger and getting a following. So many rely on word of mouth, and I don't think people realize how important it is to just post an Instagram photo of you going to a show at a theater.
Yeah.
And then like tagging the theater.
Yeah.
No, I don't think people realize like how big of an impact that makes for the theater. And I think a lot of theaters just don't understand our generation.
Yeah.
Our generation, where we finally like kind of have the money to like go see a show, and the means to get there, and like
before we were relying on our parents.
People younger than this aren't
necessarily equipped at the moment,
right? Or don't care enough.
Ugh.
Children.
I'm
a boomer. I'm just kidding.
You're a millennial. I actually just watched a video. It's on Facebook. There's a thing you can follow. It's called React. The questions were common knowledge questions or things that you learn about, say, U.S. history. One of the questions was, which U.S. president was assassinated in the 60s? And the kids didn't know.
It's JFK, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. My first thought was Abraham Lincoln, and then I was like...
Well,
you didn't say which 60s. So
yeah, I didn't clarify.
Sorry.
Allergies.
I'm really trying to not touch my nose, and I keep doing it. Backing up a little bit.
I don't have any tissues in my bag, so.
You don't have a bunched up thing of tissues? That's okay. No, but I think that, just a simple post for local theaters is like huge.
Yeah.
Is really nice. Is there anything like any show that you recommend around here in Utah that you've seen?
That's currently happening?
Yeah.
Newsies at Lehigh Arts.
Is really good?
Yes.
Is it? Wait, okay, sorry. Where do they do shows?
At a tiny, tiny little theater in Lehigh. It's so small.
Is it the Valentine or something?
I don't remember the name of it. I just know where it's located.
I'm going to look it up right now so that we can like throw it out.
Yeah.
I guess this will happen in a month, but everyone so like this show might be over, but
the
everyone
show will be over, but
like,
you check it out.
Check out Lehigh Arts in general.
Yeah.
Because they do it's very much up and coming.
Yeah.
They're just
a small theater.
They're a small community theater run by the city of Lehigh, or funded by the city of Lehigh, I should say. And they do some decent shows. Like I've been impressed with some of their stuff. So look them up in general.
Yeah. And then the American Fork Theater right now is doing Beauty and the Beast. My friend is Cogsworth, so I recommend you go see him. And
they do a lot of really good shows too, actually. We saw a production of Shrek. No, not Shrek.
I did see it there, though. I love Shrek.
No, so they did a really good production of Shrek. And
they did Sweeney Todd. We went and saw that. My roommate was in that.
Backing up a little bit, it looks like they do... they're doing Newsies at Skyridge High School in Lehigh. So if anyone wants to see, that's where Lehigh Arts Council seems to do a lot of their shows, is that Skyridge High. Yeah,
but it's a Lehigh. Yeah.
Sorry, but diving into the writer's strike, it's been really interesting seeing, so like on TikTok and stuff, seeing a lot of content creators talking about it has been really interesting. And also seeing like a lot of people around here. So we don't know. I know quite a few SAG people. I don't know a ton of people in the WGA. I think one or two maybe. But I just want to talk a little bit about the ramifications for local artists. Okay. A little bit. Is there anything that you've seen or noticed like since the writer's strike has happened with what people are doing here?
Not in regards to what people are doing, but in regards to like social media, people are sharing things like crazy, and I actually didn't know what was going on. And the night that I found out, I texted you. I was like, "What is this?" And you explained it to me, and I'm so heartbroken to know that people are so greedy. Yeah, like I know that people really are greedy, but I don't associate with people like that, and it breaks my heart seeing how it's affecting. It's upsetting.
Have you read the quote from Bob Iger where he's talking about, so Bob Iger, CEO of Disney,
Yes,
talking about the writer's strike,
yes,
was talking about how unreasonable the writers are being with demands.
right.
While he's making like 25 to $50 million or something, but in that range. And like unwilling to like give up bonuses and give up things to just pay those residuals. And I watched a video.
I just want to say he shouldn't be saying anything, because I have a lot of friends that work for Disney, and they get on.
I feel like Disney. Every time I have a lot of friends that did the Disney college program, and every time I get together with them, that's all they talk about. Is negativity. How they were treated.
Listen, you know what? And I love Disney. I love absolutely. Disney so much. It's not healthy. Like, I'm wearing Disney earrings, like Mickey earrings, and obviously Little Mermaid, The Lion King, like home. My thing says home. I love it so much, but I just don't understand how you can treat people so poorly when you have all of this money. Yeah. I don't get it. So to answer your question, I haven't seen a lot. I've just seen a lot of people very, very upset about it. Yeah.
So it's interesting being in a state that is non-union, because what happens often when a lot of union things or rules go into effect is a lot of things will come into Utah. So like in 2020 when COVID was happening, because of the restrictions, there was so 2020 was probably the most money I had ever made as a freelancer. Wow. And it was because I was so consistently working on like big shows. Mm-hmm. People were like coming from everywhere just to film here because California wouldn't let them film there. Sure. Which is super messed up. But I made a lot of money. and something similar I feel like is going to be happening here, where because they can't film in LA with like SAG people, some of those companies I'm worried are going to like flood into Utah, and people are going to start like scabbing for those companies, because I don't know, local entertainment is wild because people just like do stuff all the time. Yeah. Yikes. But I think we don't obviously have like a huge following or whatever, but I think it's important in general to say what's happening. Mm-hmm. So like I pulled up a New York Times article just to be as clear as possible and not like make sure that I'm not making something up. Yeah. So like just why are the actors and writers striking? This article says pay is often the center of work stoppages, and that is the case here. But the rise of streaming and the challenges created by the pandemic have stressed the studios, many of which are facing financial challenges, as well as actors and writers who are seeking better pay and new protections in a rapidly changing workplace. Both actors and screenwriters have demanded an increase in residual payments. So like once your show is out, right, you get paid per stream or per broadcast, things like that. Because you're not, as a writer or an actor, you're not consistently working 24/7. You often have months off. Yep. Especially if you're working on a show. Mm-hmm. When you go into hiatus, you just aren't working. So you need those residual checks to live. Mm-hmm. So streaming series typically have far fewer episodes than television series did. And it used to be that if a television series was a hit, actors and writers could count on a long stream of regular residual checks. Streaming has changed the system in a way that has hurt them. Both groups also want aggressive I can't read guardrails around the use of artificial intelligence to preserve jobs. So that's another thing that is really interesting, is AI has been brought into this. So like studios countered what actors and writers wanted by asking if they could also film one time with background actors and use AI to reproduce their face for different shows. So messed up. Which is super messed up. That's not okay in any, like how could you think that's okay? Yeah, super wild. So it's really interesting how AI is changing the game and how people are trying to use it to change the game. But I think the more that I work with AI, and because I've used it for like ideas,
Right.
I've used it for writing dialogue.
For this?
I've used it for this. I use AI a lot in my job.
Yeah.
Just for fun and just to see what I can do with it. Mm-hmm. The thing that I've noticed about it is that it's so clinical, the way that AI spits out content. It is very much like not original. Like you can feel that it doesn't have that human connection or that human touch to it.
Sure.
And I think in general, in today's content space, I feel like people crave that so much that I don't think you can super utilize AI in a very raw form. Like it's so...
It's not personal.
It's not personal, and it doesn't feel personal when you read it. Like when you read copy.
So important about art.
Yeah.
There's a human connection that you actually need. It is proven that you need that to have some sort of healthy just life in general. You need that. I get it, because like using it for fun is super awesome, and you can use it to get helpful information, but how could you do that to so many people? Removing job opportunities like that. If you can't tell, we're very passionate about people being able to do what they want in regards to work and just themselves. And it's really, really, really upsetting when someone, just because they have a ton of money, comes in and decides to screw everything up for you. It's not right. Just because you have money does not mean that you can do whatever you want. It's not okay. You should honestly think about doing what What's-His-Face did and donate all your monies. Who was that guy? He the computer guy. He did computers.
What are you talking about?
He's a rich AF. Like he's one of the Gates. Is it Gates?
Bill Gates?
He gave a ton of his money.
Bill Gates very consistently donates to charity. That's why he's not like the richest man.
But I'm just saying, like,
he's still like.
Yeah, but do something like that. Use your money for good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of crazy issues with the AI stuff, and like, wow. But
quit being greedy.
I just wanted to touch on that for a little bit.
Well, I'm glad you did, because it's very important.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anything, if you want really good content, original stuff, like you need people, and you need to treat those. You need to treat artists and those people who are making that content like they're the backbone of what you're doing. It's like people who are manufacturing products, like they're the backbone of your company, but for some reason they get paid the least. Or like production assistants on set that are doing everything. They do everything for every department and get paid the least on set. It's crazy. I don't know. Sorry. We also interrupted you following up about your week because I got really involved in your Desert Star. I got really excited about that.
Well, that's kind of the biggest news that I have to share. On the episode, I was like, I fully expect to be cast. I didn't. On the previous episode, I said that. I was hoping.
But to be like, you knew you were gonna get cast.
Yeah. Sometimes you just feel good about your audition and
but also that theater loves you.
Which, just so you're aware, if you're listening to this outside of the state that we live in, which is Utah, the Hales is both theaters are very prestigious.
They are not related, but they are both the Hales. Yeah. So there's the Hale Orem and the Hale Sandy.
Yes.
And they're the two great and spacious buildings of Utah theater. Sorry.
I wouldn't say that Orem Hale is, but I definitely think the Sandy Hale is.
Yeah. They're big, huge theaters. Sandy Hill is notorious for casting the
same people all the time.
And the same people all the time and very far in advance so that other theaters cannot get them.
Yep.
So like it's really interesting, the dynamic in local theater, because we talked a little bit earlier about how much people try to bring people in.
Yeah.
And there are nuggets that are not great. And part of that is there are a couple theaters. Pioneer kind of does this a little bit too.
Oh, really?
Where they'll try to bring people in so that other people cannot have them.
Interesting.
I've also heard that Pioneer will sometimes wait for other theaters to put out their seasons and then do the same shows to take audience members away from smaller theaters.
Oh,
which
I
is
don't
very
know.
interesting. I don't know if that's
I don't
true.
know.
That's allegedly.
Sure. I see,
don't
and
know if
I've
that's
only
true,
ever
but
heard
it's
positive
interesting.
things about Pioneer because we
Same.
have a mutual friend who, Archie.
Yeah.
They
Who's
actually
lovely.
made him equity so that they could have
so
him.
that he could do a show.
Yeah.
Archie is lovely. He actually helped me write
amazing.
the story of Emu. So he and I share a credit in the story.
I didn't know that.
And then I just took it and wrote the book.
I love him. I had the biggest crush on him when I worked
lovely.
with him at the park.
He's absolutely
Oh
lovely.
my gosh, I wanted to date him so bad, but I didn't. It has to be mutual.
Archie, if you're listening.
I'm over it now, Archie. We lost our chance.
No.
Timing's not it. I love him. I think
He's so great.
He's amazing, and he's so talented.
Incredible.
He's so talented.
He's an incredible writer, incredible director. He did a show. He actually did a version of Taming of the Shrew.
Ooh,
That generally a very problematic show.
yeah.
But he handled it very, very well.
Sure. I do want to say, though we make jokes about these theaters and say that they're like the great and spacious buildings of theater, we love them as well. Like we we love what they bring, the stuff they do. It is magic on the stage.
It's created
amazing.
a very diverse and unique, I think, theater culture in Utah. People I think it's very interesting in Utah because people don't think of it as places for movies and theater. But it's like it's kind of a big place for movies and theater.
Yeah.
Like so there's so many movies like the most recent Independence Day, part of it was filmed here.
Yeah.
And like Westworld was filmed here.
Yeah. High School Musical, the musical, the series,
and the original movies.
Hereditary,
Midsommar. So many things come through here, and there is like a very strong community and culture with movies and theater.
a lot of Hallmark movies, which I love. Hallmark movies.
Many Hallmark movies are filmed here.
I'm curious how I have a question for you while you're looking this up, or whatever. How do you measure your success? Because for me, to know that I'm success, like one of the things I want to do, I want to be in a Hallmark movie.
That'll be the moment for you.
Yes, that's how I feel like I'm going to be. Like for me, I'm really grateful for all the work opportunities I've been given. And I hope that I can continue to have them. But I truly, genuinely, so badly, I actually have an idea for a Hallmark movie because my roommate Sarah and I we were coming home for Christmas a couple of years ago, and I'm originally from Montana, and so we were driving through West Yellowstone, and there was a massive blizzard, and she and I with our dogs got stuck in West Yellowstone, and it was actually really great. And anyways, we had an experience that actually was like, oh my gosh, what an amazing idea for a Hallmark movie. But
Just
also
getting stuck in the snow.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you about that later because I don't want somebody to steal my idea because we know that people will do that.
Yeah.
But I also, another reason is because you don't see a lot of plus size women anymore. And I've said this before, like even if you do, they usually end up going through a health journey, which I full on support, but it changes the representation. And then plus size women like myself lose the encouragement that you are beautiful the way you are and you can do what you want no matter what you look like. And I know that that's something for everybody. Everybody has that, but yeah, anyways, that's how one of the things that I measure my success through is when I'm going to be positive about this, when I get a Hallmark movie.
Yes.
And not just like background, like I want to be my castability, if you believe in that, which I don't, but a lot of people do, is usually the comedic relief, which I succeed in beautifully.
Yeah.
That's like a strength of mine. But I also want to be like a main character.
Yeah. And I think that's true for everyone. Like there are a lot of people, like people of color are often cast as the best friend or even very often the villain. And it's like, but like everyone deserves a chance to be the main character. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah. But yeah, how do you, how will you, or how do you currently measure your success? I
think it's very dangerous to measure it in an external way because you'll never be satisfied.
Oh, interesting.
In a sense of like, if you try to measure it in once I get this part, that's success, or once I do this, that's success, because you can't always control that.
True.
And I think that that's really difficult. So I try to put success in what I have completed, and completion of something. So like,
I love
so right
you.
now
That's amazing.
I'm trying to write a musical.
Yeah, trying to. He has.
And once it is fully complete, and once it is fully like recorded, and we put it on like one time, that will be successful to me.
Sure.
I can't control other people. I can't control the world. I can't control reception.
Right.
I can just learn from it.
Right.
So it's successful to me if I can get it out there and then get feedback and learn for the next show.
Yeah.
Do the next one.
Yeah.
I watched Tick Tick Boom recently.
Oh, it's so good.
And first of all, I just turned 30, so panic attack.
Sure.
Second of all, the whole, like, I got chills when he put on his show, and like all the people that he wanted to come came. Like Sondheim was there. His agent that he never hears from was there, who I love. I love her character. Everyone was there, but he like it didn't get picked up, and he's like, so what do I do now? And the agent was like, you work on the next one.
Yeah.
And you just,
he did.
and then you work on the next one, and then you work on and then his next one was Tick Tick Boom, which was a completely different show, and then finally got to Rent, which was obviously an incredible show.
It is, I will dare say, 525,600 minutes is the musical theater anthem.
Yeah.
I think that Jonathan changed theater as we knew it when he wrote that show, because it's the original like angsty, dealing with real life, because everything that I know theater wise, that was the first catalyst for it.
That was a big transition in theater. It was like we went from very much Rodgers and Hammerstein, and everyone was kind of still stuck in that golden age,
which we love,
and then getting pulled into Cabaret and Rent, and like these very real and very difficult situations and things. And Jonathan, who had people in his life that had to deal with those real life situations, to get pulled into that is really incredible.
Yeah.
And to be able to articulate it so well. He's like, his writing is so freaking good.
I hope that, I believe in life after this life. I really hope that he can see and feel how much complete strangers love him for everything he's given us.
It's so sad when people don't get to see the success.
Yeah.
But I think that's another reason why you have to measure it in a way that is attainable for you.
Sure.
Because it's so much more important to say, I'm successful because I finished this, than it is to say, I'm successful because I made this much money.
Yeah, I'll be successful when. You're right. Thank you. Thank you. Because that makes me rethink I still want to be in a Hallmark movie.
Caster. Everyone, Caster.
Get out of my camera. No, I still want to be into it, but that's actually a very beautiful way to look at that.
And I think goals or desires should be present when you think of success, or when you think of or even what you want. But I think with goals, I also just got done reading Atomic Habits not too long ago. But it's a good book. You should read it.
Okay.
But it's just incremental changes that make the biggest changes in your life, like small incremental percentages that build upon each other.
So this is a self-help book?
Kind of.
Okay.
It is.
Okay.
Which I usually don't recommend, but this one's pretty good. And I think the things that it recommends are very doable.
Sure.
So this one I feel a little bit more comfortable recommending. But yeah, I think that's a really important part, is just set goals that are measurable.
Yeah.
And that are incremental.
Yeah. And
then and you can start at success means this for me. So to get there, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Careful. What movie?
I don't know. I think it's Beauty and the Beast.
It is Beauty and the Beast. It's the wardrobe.
I don't. You say it all the time. I don't. But I never know what it's from.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. You're important.
Okay.
You're valid.
Game? I just want everyone to know.
What?
I send Jace some of the weirdest text the reason
What are the weirdest text messages?
I sent him a picture of my hand
That is true.
this week. And the reason why I bring this up is
I'm
because
gonna put it on screen. This is the picture that I received out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's like the most weird. Anyway, but the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I was looking at my hand and I was thinking, it doesn't look as weird as the picture I sent to Jase.
What happened?
Also, I just want to say that I think that the sticker of Shrek on here is perfectly placed because it's like he's looking at me with the face, and it brings me joy. Jason and I were talking about it. So far, we've talked about Shrek in every single one of our episodes. And,
Always.
and I actually genuinely do love it. So I have kind of made a goal to make sure that I can mention it at least once in every episode. And I just want it to be known on record that Jace referenced it first today. And I think it's now becoming...
We'll just have Shrek in every episode. That's fine. Shrek himself will come through the door.
I would die. I would
Shrek
die.
is love. Shrek is life.
Oh my gosh. I would die.
We're going to play a game with ChatGPT really quick.
Okay.
We're almost out of time. So we're playing fact or fiction.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to give me 3 statements.
Okay.
2 of them will be true and 1 of them will be false. And you have to figure out which of those statements is false.
Oh, balls. Okay.
Okay. And this is just fun, whatever. Okay. Here are 3 statements. The Eiffel Tower was originally intended to be a temporary structure for a world exposition. Bananas are berries, scientifically classified as true berries. Or penguins can fly and regularly take flight to migrate long distances.
The false one is the penguins can fly.
Yeah, I feel like that
was obvious.
Definitely.
Bananas are true berries? How is that true? Because they've been altered. They truly have been altered so much.
Have you seen actual bananas where they have the giant seeds in them and you're like, what the?
Yeah.
What have we done?
And they're small as well. But I'm not going to lie, that first one kind of threw me. I was like,
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower one, I was like... honestly, the first 2, I could have been like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the penguins one... I think ChatGPT is stuck.
We killed it.
I think we killed the ChatGPT.
Don't come after us, robots.
Robots!
It died on its own.
We didn't kill it.
We didn't. We know the answer. Penguins cannot fly. They waddle. Beep, beep, beep.
I think...
And they mate for life, which is lovely.
I think...
It couldn't think of any other facts.
No, so I typed in penguins can fly is the false statement. And I think maybe it's trying to reconcile me telling it that as true and it actually knowing the answer. I'm not sure. I think that we just threw it in a loop.
We broke AI. That's our call to fame. We broke AI. That's funny. That is funny. All right. Well, I think that is a good end to our game. We broke AI.
I'm panicking because I'll never know the answer.
We know the answer. Penguins can't fly.
But what if they can?
I would love if they could fly.
What if penguins can fly?
I would love that.
I can't even submit another question. It's dead.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, it's gone.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, AI.
Okay. A funeral scene. Okay. Well, this was a fun discussion.
It was a fun tat. Fun tat? It was a fun tat.
Fun tat.
Fun tat. I love you so much. You're the best.
Oh my gosh.
Happy 30th birthday. Wow. Welcome to your 30s.
Thank you. I'm turning 30. Have you heard that song? You heard that song?
No.
From Bo Burnham?
No.
Oh no. That's what I've been listening to a lot.
If you want to follow us, we are on the TikTok, we are on the Instagrams and the YouTubes, and any other place you can find your podcasts.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
We're hosted on Acast and produced by Jonathan McDonald. If you want to follow our personal Instagrams, mine's Jase at Jase Van M.
And mine is Tannah. Actually, it's not. It's Tannanigans.
Mine is Tannah.
That's how tired I am. My personal Instagram is Tannanigans, but my You're the Onesie I Want is called You're the Onesie I Want. And we sing Broadway songs in onesies. Right away.
Hopefully. Oh my gosh, I'm so sweaty. I just did this. I lifted up my arm and then I was like, oh no.
I can't believe I witnessed that. That was amazing.
I just noticed that there's bad sweat stains.
I'm Tannanigans.
And I'm tired.
Goodbye.